The atmosphere in games is very important. Still, it's nice when the player is given the opportunity to fully absorb the story, unusual setting, memorable characters, and other important components of an atmospheric game. This time we decided to create a small selection of 14 games with really atmospheric worlds. You can add your own variants in the comments, because there are actually a lot of games with unique and inimitable atmosphere. We have chosen the ones that made a big impression on us over the last few years. Immortals Fenyx Rising is a role-playing adventure project in the open world. You get the role of a demigod from the universe of ancient Greek myths. The protagonist has unique abilities and challenges a rebellious titan. The enemy has imprisoned all the gods, so he must be destroyed. To his aid will come mythical monsters, and even heroes who could not resist the psychological stupefaction. In battles, you will have to look for their weaknesses. Only in this way can you win and fulfill the main task. Yes, the project is not perfect, but Immortals Fenyx Rising was able to find its fans. Try it if you haven't played it. Maybe it will be to your liking too. Ghost of Tsushima is an open-world action game with its own unique features. The game's setting is medieval Japan, where there is also a place for quests, all kinds of activities and puzzles. The main character here is Jin Sakai, a follower of the ancient order of samurai. His loyal weapon is a bow and sword, with the help of which he kills his enemies. Initially, the game was a Sony exclusive, but as it often happens lately, the game is transferred to PC. Is it worth your attention? Absolutely. I played it with great pleasure, and now I'm sincerely waiting for the sequel. Death Stranding is an action-adventure with a beautiful open world and post-apocalyptic setting. The game story tells about a large-scale cataclysm after which people are forced to save themselves in bunkers. They try not to go outside, and the delivery of goods between settlements is carried out by desperate adventurers, the so-called couriers. The protagonist belongs to this cast of adventurers and travels around the mysterious world. Now, Genius, I guess you know who we're talking about, is working on the continuation of his new franchise. If you are partial to working in Yandex delivery, then you should like this game too. There's nothing better than running Death Stranding on your PC after a hard day's work delivering food. Biomutant is an atmospheric action-adventure where the heroes are mutants of a post-apocalyptic Earth. The technological world we know is dying. Only animals manage to survive as a result of mutations. They have gained reason. Now they explore the world, solve its mysteries, and try not to slip into even greater cruelty. The protagonist of the project, a raccoon, preaches kung fu. This martial art, with its ancient history, riddles and problems, is a single line through the whole game. I remember that this game had high expectations, but according to the majority of critics and users, the game has some serious flaws and rough edges. Nevertheless, it's worth to get acquainted with the project, especially on Officialist Day. NieR Automata is an action-adventure game with a multifaceted plot and post-apocalyptic setting. In this dystopian world, humanity has abandoned their planet after an invasion of mechanical beings. Humans send combat robots to Earth in hopes of reclaiming their home. This should be the last battle between androids and machines, where the winner will be determined. The plot of the project can boast several dozens of endings, which creates its own intrigue during the passage. Enslaved, Odyssey to the West is an action slasher with a memorable plot about life on Earth after the next cataclysm of the future. There are almost no people left, and robots and heavy machines roam the planet. Slave barges float in the air. The protagonist is captured by the droids but manages to escape. He frees the slaves from one of the barges and then goes on the run. Together with a hacker girl, the protagonist goes west. The gameplay of the project is based on solving puzzles, participating in numerous battles, and exploring the mysteries of the surrounding world. Cry Primal is a spin-off of the same name series in the Stone Age setting. You get the role of a lone hunter who has to survive as long as possible. The environment is a clear threat. Absolutely all animals with teeth and claws will try to kill you. Skills and resources are severely limited at the start, but as you progress, you can significantly expand your arsenal of abilities. Having coped with all the trials, the hero takes a well-deserved place at the top of the food pyramid. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is a magical RPG adventure of truly epic proportions. The game retains the signature style of the series, but a large number of various details and plushies creates its own unique entourage. The game world is literally full of life. Here you get absolute freedom of movement and action. Quests are carried out in different ways. Items are used at any suitable opportunities. Unfortunately, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is a Nintendo exclusive. ARK Survival Evolved is a project in the familiar genre of survival RPG adventures. The game features an open world with a lot of interesting features. There is no coherent storyline here, but it does not spoil the general idea. The main emphasis in the game is on the process of building shelters, collecting resources, taming dinosaurs, and participating in faction wars. It is the prehistoric animals that become your main enemies and at the same time the main allied force. Atmospheric? Naturally. Monster Hunter World is an open-world RPG with monster hunting as the main narrative line. In this game ecosystem, there are hunters who are ready to significantly complicate the life of monsters. They start a real war with dragons, dinosaurs, and other evil things of huge size. At the start, you get the role of a neutral character who must earn the right to become a real hunter. Starting your way with an ordinary bow, you gradually learn to track animals, craft weapons, and improve your hunting skills. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a Western shooter which became a long-awaited sequel to the first part. According to the plot, a gang of outlaws led by Arthur Morgan decides to retire. They urgently need money to move somewhere far away, so they will have to take up their old trade again. Together with the main character, you take on brutal tasks, engage in robberies and murders. The game has a reputation scale which depends on the actions of the protagonist and affects the further plot. The project offers an open world with absolute freedom of movement, choice, and action. Elden Ring isn't just a game, it's an adventure that pulls you into a mysterious, hauntingly beautiful world. From Software nailed the open world experience, blending deep lore, brutal combat, and endless exploration. Every corner of the lands between feels alive, packed with secrets waiting to be uncovered. It's not just about fighting tough bosses, it's about the journey, the discoveries, and the freedom to carve your own path in a world that feels both hostile and mesmerizing. The Witcher 3. Wild Hunt is a legendary project from the cult series of games about the most famous Witcher of all times and peoples, which in its time raised an incredible bar for RPG genre. Content in the game is really a lot, which became a distinctive feature of the project. The protagonist, as always, earns his living by destroying monsters and other evil things, and also participates in solving problems of universal scale. Though he never wanted to get involved in them, he travels through huge locations, performs various quests, crafts weapons or tools, and improves his combat skills. The game presents a completely unique story with a non-linear narrative. We can't forget to mention two story additions, Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine. In the second one, the events develop in the Principality of Tucson, which was not in the original game. Cyberpunk 2077 had a rocky launch, but after updates it has become one of the most immersive games out there. Night City feels like a living, breathing world, neon-lit streets, massive skyscrapers, and deep stories around every corner. The game lets you shape your own journey, from intense shootouts to hacking into people's minds. With the Phantom Liberty expansion, it's better than ever, proving that this cyberpunk dream is worth diving into. If you've ever wanted to explore space, Starfield makes it feel real. Bethesda's biggest RPG yet gives you entire planets to explore, spaceships to customize, and choices that truly impact the story. It's like Skyrim in space, but with a massive galaxy to discover. Whether you're trading, fighting, or uncovering alien mysteries, Starfield gives you the freedom to create your own adventure among the stars. God of War Ragnarok isn't just an action game, it's an emotional cinematic masterpiece. The world is stunning, the combat is brutal, and the story is deeply personal. Kratos and Atreus continue their journey through Norse mythology, facing gods, monsters, and their own struggles. Every moment feels epic, and the world is packed with incredible detail. It's one of those rare games where gameplay and storytelling blend perfectly. The Last of Us Part 2 is more than just a game. It's an emotional gut punch. The storytelling is raw, the characters feel real, and the world is hauntingly detailed. Every choice, every action, and every moment carries weight. It's not just about survival, it's about revenge, love, and the cost of violence. The game pushes boundaries, making you question everything, and that's what makes it unforgettable. Dragon's Dogma 2 takes the fantasy RPG experience to the next level with its deep combat, living world, and unpredictable adventures. The pawn system makes your journey feel truly unique, as AI companions learn and adapt to your playstyle. Every battle is dynamic, whether you're climbing a towering griffin or facing a fire-breathing dragon. The open world feels alive, reacting to your choices and actions. And it's not just about being a hero, it's about surviving and thriving in a brutal, ever-changing fantasy land. All fans of open worlds with giant robots in a post-apocalyptic setting should pay attention to this series of games. Zero Dawn and Forbidden West tells about the adventures of a young girl, Aloy, from the Nora tribe who, by coincidence, decided to save the world. The player will be lucky to visit different corners of post-apocalyptic America where giant robots rule. By the way, the robots look and even behave like animals. Some of them are really huge in size. A good story, juicy graphics, lots of activities, setting, and much more create a really incredible atmosphere. Both games are available on PC, although they were previously a Sony exclusive. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is an action RPG from the famous Ubisoft studio. This time the developers decided to take the players to ancient Greece. There is an open world with almost endless in-game opportunities and a choice of ways to fulfill quests. In the game, you can engage in open confrontation with the enemy or use stealth capabilities for stealthy movement. The arsenal is quite extensive and the hero uses his special abilities when needed. However, almost any part of the series could be added here. Literally every game is so imbued with the atmosphere of the time to which the game narrative is dedicated